In today's video, we're going to do a quick mod on this new Sportster that I got. We are going to be switching out the headlights for some aftermarket LED ones. And if you stick around to the end, I'll show you guys how to make a quick DIY harness that you can use for features like halos and DRLs. This is the headlight model that I chose. This kit here cost me about 35 bucks plus tax and things like that. So on this particular model, you have 27 LEDs. You can go with the official Harley ones, but there are a lot of replicas that you can find on Amazon and eBay for literally a fraction of the price. These come pre-wired with an H4 bulb harness, as you can see here. This is a very common connector for lights, and is actually the same one that the Sportster utilizes to plug in the halogen H4 bulb. This bezel is actually a clamp that holds the headlight assembly to the bike. So to loosen the clamp, you'll find a screw at the bottom. Just take your Phillips screwdriver and loosen it from here. Depending on age and condition of your Sportster, there might be some corrosion, so you may need to use some extra tools like a pair of pliers to keep the nut from spinning. Here is what those two pieces look like. They're very small, so make sure you keep a good eye on these. You don't want these to bounce and have to look for it for the rest of the day. And as you can see now, the bezel can be removed carefully along with the headlight. And all we'll need to do is disconnect this bulb harness. And to do that, there's actually a trick to do this. On the left and the right side of this plug are little paddles, and you actually have to pinch them to be able to disconnect this plug. So don't try to use just brute force to rip them out. All you got to do is pinch the tabs on the sides to remove it. So here's the side by side of the two headlights. They're both 5 by 3/4 inch designs. So you can see the old one just uses a halogen bulb, whereas the new one uses LED technology. And because it's LED, the design is not as deep because you don't need as much surface area for reflecting the light. The LED bulb is going to be a lot brighter and more efficient. And to complete the install, all you need to do is plug in the harness to the headlight. To secure the headlight, just reinstall the ring bezel and tighten it down. Make sure you account for top and bottom depending on your headlight's design. On this model, the bottom 3 rows are the low beams, the top 2 rows are the high beams, and then there's also DRL markers at the top and at the bottom. Just in time, the sun's going down, so let's go ahead and do a performance test on these headlights compared to the factory one. And for all this footage, I tried to leave it unprocessed as much as possible. Some of the things to notice is this cover that's coming up, the signs to the right, and then also just the reflectors in the ground. I took some footage before I removed the stock headlights so I could show you guys and provide a side-by-side comparison. There's the high beam. As you can see, there's a little bit more reflection on the signage, and then also the reflectors in the street are also more pronounced, and also there's a little bit more visibility between the spotlight itself and right in front of you. And then here, switching back and forth between low beam and high beam. So here is the new aftermarket headlight, the one that we just swapped out. This is just running on the low beam setting, so this is the bottom 3 rows of lights. One of the things you'll notice right off the bat is the light color is a lot cooler, which means there's a little bit more blue and white versus the yellow that you were getting with the halogen bulb. And even on the low beam, as you can see, it just completely blows the light output of the high beams on the factory halogens out of the water. It doesn't even compare. So when you switch over to the high beams, it is a huge difference in terms of visibility. The high beam settings on this headlight is all 27 lights plus the DRLs going on. So that's what you're seeing here. You're seeing 27 little LEDs, and the lighting output is just night and day difference between the factory setup and this $35 mod. Definitely get a lot more confidence riding in the dark. You don't have to worry about potholes that come up last second. You have a little bit more vision so that you're able to see any obstacles or situations right in front of you. And here is a side-by-side of the settings right next to each other. I did a split screen so that you can compare and you didn't have to jump back and forth in the video. The results speak for themselves. If you were to ask me if this mod is worth it, I mean, for $35 and the amount of effort that it took to install it, look at the difference that it would provide you in nighttime riding. Now that you've seen the performance side by side, what do you think? Do you think that this mod is worth it? Is this something that you'll be looking into doing on your own Sportster or Harley-Davidson? Or are you content with the halogen bulbs? Or maybe there's a different reason. Let me know in the comments below. And so as promised, it's a super easy mod. All you'll need is 6 to 8 inches worth of 14 gauge wire. You'll also need a male spade terminal. The 14 to 16 gauge one is the one that you're looking for. Typically they're color coded in blue. A way you can check if this is the right size is by matching it up to the wire that's connected to your DRL or halo from the aftermarket headlight. First, you strip some of the jacket to expose some of the wire. I like to twist the ends so that the individual strands are packed in tight. You'll slide the spade connector over the exposed wire, take a pair of pliers, and clamp down the spade connector. Make sure you have a nice tight crimp, and you'll have a completed harness. You'll use that spade terminal to tap the daytime running light wire to your low beam on the H4 harness. The low beam is going to be the middle prong on the H4 harness. I just wrapped the exposed wire around the low beam prong and plugged it into the headlight harness. Make sure that the wire is only wrapped around the low beam and you don't have any strands or anything like that touching any of the other prongs. And since the accessory was tapped into the low beam, whenever your low beams are on, your accessory lights, whether they're DRLs or a halo, will also trigger. I finished off the look by spray painting the ring bezel from silver to black, so I got more of a blacked out look. I also tinted out the turn signal markers and threw LEDs in there to just kind of complete this blacked out look. Let me know what you guys think. Again, thanks for checking out this video. If you want to keep up with this motorcycle build, I've got a lot of things planned for it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you want to see in the next videos down in the comment section, and be safe out there, guys. I'll see you in the next one.